What's up, Coderbyte? Welcome back to another data structures and algorithms video. I'm Elizabeth, and I got a surprise for you all. So you know how this year I've barely been posting on the channel. I kind of took a step back. I was focusing on my career, my daytime career, quitting my last job, getting my new job. Yes, I did get a job, and yes, I do like it. So thank God. Um, but I haven't been spending a lot of time on this channel. Lucky for you guys, lucky for me, and lucky for my friends. I have a handful of friends, about 5 or 6 people, give or take, who I have been promising to teach to code for a while now, and help them get started and help them with basics and setting up their machines and all of that stuff, kind of sending them in the right direction. And I started teaching them kind of one-on-one, and I was like, why don't we all just learn together? Then I have to teach it once, and they can rely on each other as buddies. So we started last week. It was a great, great session. We did about an hour. My recorded video of it is less than an hour, but I think, as we continue, we're going to try and get a full content of hour each week. And this is going to be a new series. This is going to be a series for everybody here who is self-taught and was never kind of walked through those beginning, what is a computer? How do I do basic things, right? You might have jumped straight into JavaScript or Python or servers, websites, I don't know, whatever. So this is going to be a real crash course, some of my best tips and tricks for how I am the most productive as a developer. I have some, tips and tricks like getting a screen tiler, getting a password manager, stuff like that that you might not have come across on your own. And especially if you're learning without a team, without a job right now, it's stuff that you might have not met anybody yet to be like, oh, hey, I see that they're doing that. Let me also do that. So that's what this series is going to be all about. It's going to be useful for people, like I said, who don't know a lot of the basics, or for newcomers to the channel who don't know anything at all, right? A lot of our content is a little more advanced, getting you ready for those interviews. This is going to be getting you ready to start. So I hope you all enjoy. Like I said, 1 to 2 videos a week because I'm going to try and get back into the normal interview question cadence as well. And I hope you all enjoy. Yeah, that's it for me. Okay. Liz presents Coding with Friends, 6/20/23. Fun fact, I made this presentation about an hour ago. I planned to do it earlier this morning and obviously procrastinated. Okay. Session one, setting up and getting to know your machine. So just basics, I italicize kind of keywords. I make other keywords in green. I do keyboard shortcuts in yellow and more or less. So just get to know my slide. That's generally what I do. Okay. So first thing is first, a password manager. Who here knows what a password manager is? Crickets or chats, which I can't see. So I'm going to just continue. Um, Password managers are vital. They help manage all your passwords. You will have a lot of passwords in life and as a coder. Most are the same. There's all different ones, just like there are all different cars. There are all different password managers. You set up a login, which is your email, and one master password. So every time you need any password, you just have to put in your one master password. All your passwords are stored in the app/browser extension. You can autofill your passwords both on the computer and on your phone, just like you autofill anything. So if you're on Facebook.com, the password manager will know that and will fill in your Facebook.com login. And you actually don't have to put your master password in every time. You put it in once a day, once you set up how often you want to be logged out, and then it just fills. It's really wonderful. I'm very passionate about this. It has nothing to do with being a coder, but I don't know what people do if they don't have one. This makes it easy to have good complex passwords so you can stop using your easy password 123 for everything so I can't hack you all, steal all your money, and run. I have always used LastPass, which I believe has a free tier, but again, feel free to explore other options. But it's very easy. They have a phone app, autofills on your phone, all the things. So this is the link to LastPass.com. You guys can't click the link, but I would love for you to click the link, download it, or I'm going to send the slides after, and you could do this after, and try and set it up yourselves. And if you need help, we'll talk about it next week. But I would love for you guys to try and set it up. It's pretty simple. And I'm assume right now most of you have the same password for everything, or a list of 5 passwords that you rotate between, and you maybe have it written on a sticky note somewhere. So it will take some time to input all of your passwords up front, but once you do, it will make your life much simpler, much safer, and literally will save you hours. I'm telling you, my mom is constantly battling her passwords. Most people are. This is a truly wonderful investment of time at the beginning. It's definitely Yes, it's not all or nothing. If it's not in LastPass, you just enter your password as you normally would. So only if it's in LastPass will it prompt you. Otherwise, go do your thing. So you can add slowly. Once you type it in the browser, LastPass will prompt you, do you want to save this one? If you save a bunch of the same passwords, it will say, hey, you have a bunch of the same passwords on all the websites. That's not safe, but it will allow it. It will just complain about it because they are preaching security practices. That makes sense. Um, So I do not, and I'll tell you why, because that only works on your phone, or now it works on your Mac too. So that's a similar idea. The reason I use LastPass is because the Apple password manager is kind of tied to your device. So if you get a new device, or you have multiple devices, or you get an Android phone because you have an Android phone, it doesn't sync. So if you have a third party password manager, you just download the app on whatever you're on and you log in. Similar to like, so on your Mac, it's not an app, it's a browser extension. So I can also help you set that up, but it basically looks like here, it's this little thing. You put in your password and then it literally just autofills on all the websites. Very easy. Everyone has it. Google has it, Apple has it. But like I said, it's harder to transport once you're locked into your device versus LastPass, which you take it with you if you get a PC, if you get a new phone, if you're on someone else's computer. It's a little bit more transportable. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Okay, Screen Tyler. This is another fun one, and then we're going to get into actual coding stuff. Screen tilers and making use of different desktop spaces are also vital. So a screen tiler, call out to anyone knows what this is. Jeremy, I'm sure you do, but it's basically something where you can quickly snap windows to different parts of your machine or your desktop, and it will automatically fill half the screen with it. It will fill a quarter of it. It will make it full screen. So watch this. Well, it's not going to fill vertically, but doop, doo doo. Oop, no, I don't want that. Go back. Doop, doop. So very quickly, and then if you have multiple things on the screen, you have one thing in one corner and one thing in another corner. You get the drift, right? So when you're coding, and then different desktop spaces, if you don't already know, on a Mac, you can have these different desktop spaces. Most of you probably already know this, but when you're coding, you have here, I think I wrote it. You will begin to have lots of windows open, all open at once, and keeping them organized, learning how to switch between them fast will save you lots of time and frustration. So if you're one of those people that have a desktop and all your application windows are like stacked messily, it's going to make your life a living hell to like navigate and switch between them. And you're going to want to have multiple things open at once. You're going to want to be looking at two things at once and to easily be able to just half screen this, other half screen that. Um, it saves you a lot of headspace and it's nice. So this is optional, but I highly suggest it. It's also very easy to set up. I use something called Spectacle. It's free. That's the download link, and it basically is just like browser app, excuse me, a computer application. It pops up in your little top bar up here. It's the glasses. Here's all the keyboard shortcuts. You see, you can do left half, right half, upper left, make larger, make smaller, full screen, center, blah, blah, blah. So it's very, very easy to do. And then you just set it up to start on login so that you never have to start it. It's just starting as soon as your computer starts, and it's very quickly becomes very easy to manage these things. Everyone following? Okay, let's get into real stuff. Your terminal and some basic commands. Who knows what a terminal is? Okay, so hold on. So I should have written this in the slides, but I didn't. So a terminal is essentially a computer is made up of um, a monitor or a display, a keyboard, and a mouse. And the monitor displays things. The keyboard and mouse help you interact with those things. So you point and click, you type. Um, Normally, I'm sure most of you, um, if you want to open an application, you click on it and then it opens. A terminal kind of wipes the need of what's called the graphical user interface, or a GUI. I really should have made a slide about this, but forgive me, I'll send some follow-up notes. Um, so the terminal wipes that need for this graphical user interface, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's what you see. It's those little app icons. It's the clicking and dragging. All of that is the what's called graphical user interface. So your terminal wipes that, and it allows you to use text to interact with your machine instead of the pointing and clicking. Now you might ask why? Why do I need to not point and click? Why do I need to write computer jargon? Number one, it's faster, right? So once you get good at it, it's significantly faster than pointing and clicking and dragging and dropping and all that stuff. Number two, there are going to be commands that you're telling your program that you just can't, you don't point and click. You talk to the computer directly. It's almost like instead of this person who stands between you and what's happening, which is your graphical user interface, this is a way to talk to the computer directly. The computer only understands uh, its language. So this is called Bash. That's the name of the terminal that is running on your computer. And it understands this Bash language, which I'm going to teach you a little bit of tonight. Everyone following? Cool. Okay, so find your terminal. Use the keyboard shortcut Command plus space to quickly access Spotlight Search. This is a wonderful tool to find and open any app quickly. So I'm sure most of you have pretty bloated bottom things. I have a very small bottom thing. I keep it very small because I use Command click to find anything, which is now it's on a different screen. Let me drag it over. I use command and I can just say Chrome and then I click enter. I say terminal and then I click enter. So I never have to find and click anything. I always just command space, search for whatever I need, click enter. So that's a good trick. So I would love for everybody to command click and type in terminal and try and open their terminal and tell me what they see. You'll all probably see something different. This is going to be exciting. And I'm going to vape. Tell me when you're perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to get back to that and we're going to start to learn some commands, but we'll get there in a second. Uh, okay, type terminal and press enter. You did that. Okay. Let's pause and learn about the structure of a computer. So now we're going to learn about what are we actually looking at in the terminal, what is a computer comprised of, So it's not so scary to you. Because I remember when I first really started, I was like, I was talking to my friend Jake, who I've worked at multiple companies, and he's a very good friend of mine, one of my best. And I was telling him that I was starting this class, and he's going to come in and guest lecture about databases. Look forward to that. But I was telling him I was doing this class, and he was like, people are so afraid of their computers. There's a lot of trauma around computers. Everyone had that computer teacher that was like, don't touch that, don't do this. Everyone thinks they're going to mess their whole computer up. It's actually very hard to totally mess your computer up beyond repair. You might not be able to repair it, but it's hard to mess it up, beyond got to get a new computer. So let's talk about the structure of a computer. This is going to be probably the meatiest slide of the entire class, so get excited. Okay, your computer is essentially a file tree, a code runner, and a system of ports to access those various running processes. I'm going to explain each one of those things. What do I mean by file tree? Your computer is structured like a bookshelf. Imagine a bookshelf with folders on the shelves. Each shelf has a sort of horizontal capacity, i.e., you can stack things next to each other. Each folder has infinite depth. You can put all sorts of things in the folders, including other folders. Let's see, do I move on? So yeah. Oh no. Okay, 1 second. So I'm gonna pause to show you stuff, and then I'm gonna pause for questions. So let's open a Finder. I'm sure you've all used Finder before, but essentially a Finder is the graphical user interface for looking at your bookshelf, right? Looking at your file tree. So Elizabeth is my home directory. I'm sure you all have seen this kind of stuff. I'm learning how to DJ, that's why all that music is there. Hit me up for some also DJ tracks. Also, as a coder, you're going to have to get into some techno music. Sorry, it's the only thing that is helpful while you code, other than classical music. Anything with lyrics is a little too distracting, so sorry. Okay, so here's a file tree, right? Imagine this is my bookshelf, and these are my folder on my books. So this is like a flat structure. Everything's next to each other. If I open VHR, which is the class I do with Alan's wife, I look at everything in that folder. I have a logo, I have logo samples, I have random screenshots. If I open coding, I have other random code. And here's a folder in a folder. Here's an app. So this is fun to show you. This whole thing is an entire to-do app that I made for an interview for a job. So this is how an app is structured. It's just files and folders. It's just another bookshelf, right? That's what I mean by file tree. It's actually just a bookshelf with folders, and the folders can contain folders. That is a computer plus the other two things that I'm going to explain, a code runner and ports. But that's all it is. It's just a shelf with folders. Any questions? Okay, cool. Okay. What do I mean by code runner? So your computer can run code packaged as applications. This is what happens when you open an application, i.e. run it. We will discuss a browser and how it differs from applications on your machine in future classes. So basically, when you download an application from the internet or from a CD, once upon a time, you would get a Microsoft Word CD and install it on your machine, and then it would live on your machine. You wouldn't have to put the CD in every time. People remember that maybe? Um, what that means is you got a package of code. Let's open my Finder one more time to my to-do app. Where is that? So you got what's in this folder. You downloaded it, you ripped it off a CD, you got the package. When you click on it, your computer runs the code. That's why with apps on your computer, if there's an update, meaning they changed the code, you have to download an update because the code on your machine differs from the latest updated code. Following everybody? Okay, cool. Okay, what do I mean by ports? So everything so far is more or less self-explanatory. This is going to be the first new concept, in my opinion. What do I mean by ports? So they are like apartment addresses in a big apartment building. Your computer has the main address. The ports are the apartment numbers to access various people. We will also go through more of this in future sessions. So what do I mean by that? When your computer runs something, it has to run somewhere. It can't run everything at the same address. It needs to itself organize. So there are ports that we use. I forget how many there are or what the how like what the range is, but essentially you have a lot of ports. Some popular ones are 3000, 4040, 8080. I don't know why they're popular. I believe a little bit it's like you normally run a web server on 8080. So when people look to your ports, they'll expect a web server running on 8080. You normally run a database on port, I forget, but so people will look to that port because that's where they expect the process to be running. And again, it's just kind of like it's a sub address of your one computer address. Does that make sense? That's a hard concept for people to get. Cool. And also, of course, most of these things you won't quite get until we work with them. So this is a very introductory class, but we're going to play around with all this stuff and you'll see it for yourself, and that's how it's going to really sink in. The good thing about coding is everyone's like, "Oh, you must be really good with numbers and must have a really good memory." I have I have a pretty good memory. But you don't need a good memory, and you certainly don't need to be good with numbers because once you get it and you get used to it, it's like driving a car. You sort of figure out how to drive a machine, and you know where to look for things. And if you don't, you Google it, which every time you're not working with something, you forget. And then when you need it again, you Google it, you remember, and you look stuff up. That's how the whole industry works. So all this stuff I'm not even going to say go over the slides. Like we're going to go through all of this in so much in practical use that you'll never be tested on this stuff. It's just going to get built in. Once you guys are ready for like interviews, we'll talk about how do you prep for a coding interview because there's no test, there's no degree. You kind of have to prove yourself as a problem solver in real time. So we'll talk about what does that mean? What does that look like? But like, don't memorize this stuff. I promise you, you don't need to. It's all gonna become like it's a new language for you. Go over the slides if you want to go over the slides, but like really, the thing to kind of memorize is going to be the terminal commands that I'm going to teach you. And even those you don't have to memorize because you can Google everything. Again, to come up with some of the commands, I had to Google them because I forgot them. I don't use them regularly. Um, so like really low key, don't stress about any of this stuff. And I think Jeremy, who's been learning this for a little bit, can attest to that. What do you think, Jeremy? Yep. And when I get interviewed, they let me Google things because it's part of the job. They want to see what are you Googling? Are you a good Googler? But they let you look up whatever you want. It's very much like, you know, open like it's not you're not tricking anybody. Everyone knows that that's what you're doing. Everyone knows that we copy each other's code online. The skill of a good software engineer is not being able to write from scratch. The skill of a good software engineer is actually to take various pieces and put them together in a cohesive manner. Something that's robust, something that's won't break, something that's not buggy. But like, I have a coworker who I was recently talking to him, and he actually asks every time he starts to write code, he asks ChatGPT to do it for him, and ChatGPT will give him a scaffolding, and he copies the scaffolding, he puts it in his text editor, which we'll talk about at the end of this class, and he fills in the blanks. But like, it's not a trick. We know we do this. The ingenuity of a good engineer is like an artist. It's putting pieces together in a way that is understandable, in a way that if there's a thing that we say in the industry, if I get hit by a bus, will people know how to understand my code without me? It's the bus rule. You have to not get hit by a bus and have all your code explode. Like that's the how you get to be a good engineer. Okay, everyone following, cool. My main point is do not be afraid of your machine. It's actually not so complicated and scary. Okay, what's next? Terminal commands, the basics. Okay, so ls, this is the list command. So you'll see all of these commands kind of sound like what they do, and they're also a little weird. So you might have to look them up each time. You can use this slide as a reference. So everybody, let's open my terminal so we can see it. Let's make, so I already have some things that are popping up that we can explain at a later date, but not important for now. So I have just the tilde and I have a nice arrow, which none of you have, haha. Let's make this a little bigger and let's do full screen. Okay, so ls, so I'm in tilde, right? So tell me someone, what does tilde indicate? Where am I on my machine? Home, right. So if I do ls, what are we going to do? We're going to list the things on the bookshelf. That's all that's going to happen. So ls, and look, we have the same exact things as my Finder, right? It's a mirror image because it's the same. It's just a different way of accessing rather than using the graphical user interface or GUI. Um, it's just in text. So I have applications, I have desktop, I have the air, etc. Everyone following? So I'm going to let you, after this class or whatever, the thing that I actually invite you to do is to play around in your terminal and organize, because your computers are probably a mess. My computer was a mess before I was a software engineer because you don't quite get it. Once you get it, you can see, oh, what's in my home directory? What's in that folder that I never look at? Where are my bills? Stuff like that. So look around, ls. Oh, there are some good ones that I didn't put in the slide. So I'm gonna maybe live code this. We'll see. Okay, ls pwd. This is the where am I command, i.e. print working directory. So what that means is if you don't have where you are in your prompt, which I don't think all of you said you had, you can from wherever you are, say pwd, and it will tell you. So I am in users/Elizabeth. Now, remember I said everything is a bookshelf? So the beginning / is the first bookshelf, right? So the first bookshelf on my machine has a users folder. In the users folder is an Elizabeth folder. And in the Elizabeth folder is all this stuff. Are people following? Okay, cool. Rebecca, we haven't heard from you in a bit. You like it? Yeah, my colors are pretty. I don't even use this terminal. I use this terminal, which we can also set up. But look at this. Boom. It's a little transparent. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Well, so I can switch between the two. Anyway, so this is all fun things. You can spend your first jobs just doing this and they'll pay you for it. It's amazing. Okay, back to the slides. Okay. Make dir. That's what it's MKDIR, but that's called make dir. That's how you would pronounce it. I can also make notes of that. LSPWD, make dir. If you say MKDIR, no one's going to know what you're saying. If you say list, no one also will know what you're saying. So that's something that you just don't want to be embarrassed by, but you'll learn. Okay, so make dir, this is the create a directory, i.e. folder command. So directory and folder are interchangeable. So let's see. So I'm in my home directory. I'm going to go to CD coding. Now I didn't write this on the slide, but CD is how you go into a different folder. So I'm in home, I'm CDing into coding. So I didn't write that in the slide. I'm going to add it to the slide. Everyone following though? Okay, so CD coding. Now I'm in coding. You see that? CD home, I'm back in home. Okay, so CD coding. And then make dir learning with friends. Now I should have done hold on, ls, I should have done an ls before and after, but now in coding, I have all of these things plus a folder that's learning with friends. Now tell me, is there anything in that folder? Correct. So if I say CD learning with friends, and okay, so that's another thing that I could write in the slides. Your terminal will autocomplete things. So you see how I just did LEA and then I did tab? So you don't have to write it out each time. Again, your computer's your friend. No one's asking you to be typing a bunch. So again, I'm going to add all this to the slides before I send it out because these are I made the slides without really because this is it's an interactive process here. So I'm going to write it all. But CD learning with friends, LS. Oh, it's Musia. Nothing's in it, right? CD endpoint app. CD coding. Okay, so this is another thing I'm going to put in the slides. To get back a directory, so to leave the folder I'm in, to go back where I was, you do dot dot. So I'm going to put it all in the slides. Don't remember, this is the stuff to memorize, but it's just one slide. So don't be overwhelmed. This all becomes second nature. Hold on, let me admit Lucia to the class. Oh no, it's not that. It's going to end soon. Okay, we gotta continue. Okay, so coding LS stuff is in it. CD learning with friends, nothing's in it. Following? Okay, we have a few more. Wherever you run this command, either from home or from within a directory, that is where the directory will be created. That's kind of common sense, but I wanted to put that in. Okay. Echo, this command is used to display a line of text or a string. We'll talk about different types, but text and string, let's say, are interchangeable right now. We'll follow up, that are passed as an argument. We will learn more about arguments in future sessions. For now, just take my word for it. Okay, so echo, the way I'm going to use it is going to be like, Elizabeth, why would you ever need to do that? The reason you would need to do that is if you were writing a program that was running and you wanted to print something on the terminal, you would say echo in the script. But so watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to say echo, uh, what's up, friends? And the way you delineate the text is within quotes, I think. Let's see what happens. What's up, friends? See, that's it. That's a fun one for now. Everyone following? Okay, what's your question? Okay, so you see how I said basically echo, which is what it sounds like. What's up, friends? So then the terminal printed out, what's up, friends? It didn't do anything. So again, if you were running a program and you wanted to print something on the console, let's say saving dot dot dot, let's say wrote the file dot dot dot, let's say finished, you would write in the program echo finished, echo saved, echo in process, and then it would in the script in the code in the while you're running the code, it would print it. It doesn't, right? What I just did is almost what's the word? It's silly, right? There's no purpose to what I did, but I'm just trying to give you guys the beginnings. Does that make sense? I don't, I think so. Let's see. What's up, friends? Let's see what happens. Oh no, you don't have to. And again, I actually didn't know that. I what you figured out by doing. Um, okay, any other questions? Correct. Correct. I'm not printing something. I'm displaying it. That's better, Jeremy. Thank you for that. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Text editor. I think this is the last screen. Text editor, your new best friend. A text editor is where you'll spend the most time besides surfing the web for answers to questions. Uh, the simple definition is a type of computer program that edits plain text. Such programs are sometimes known as notepad software. They can be used to change files such as configuration files, documentation files, and programming language source code, aka writing the code that makes up an app. So you might ask, okay, I want to write some code. Where do I write it? Do I write it in Word? Do I write it in Google Docs? No, you write it in a text editor. So the first thing we'll do next week is I'm going to ask you all to download the text editor, but I'm going to show you around because that is going to be where you play. That's where you write code. It helps autocomplete things. It has special highlighting. Like I said, it has all these color themes. Let me just see how much time is left on this meeting. I don't know. Thank you. Okay, so we will learn more about all these things in future classes. I use, and so do all smart people, Visual Studio Code, which is free. A lot of software for coding is free. Download it from here. Next week we will configure, blah, blah, blah. For now, just download. Um, Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. See you all next week. Okay, so I filmed the outro and then I had one more thing to say, so I'm going to put this in before the outro. I have slides for this video, and I don't think I normally post my slides, but I'm going to start posting my slides because why not? You guys should all have access to that. So I also updated my slides that I presented in the video after the class to answer some of the questions that my friends had asked. So make sure you download the slides if you want the most up-to-date version. And yeah, here's my outro. That's it from us today at Coderbyte. I hope you all enjoyed. Give me a like, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. You know what them YouTubers say. And comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're curious about. We can cover all sorts of things in this channel because if you're asking, my friends will ask. This week, you didn't get to meet my friends. I messed up the audio and I only got my audio and not their audio. So I didn't want to put in the awkward pauses where they were asking questions and I was answering them. Next week, I'll get that sorted so you can hear the questions and answers and all of that stuff. And yeah, I hope everyone's good. Obviously at my parents' house in Florida, you guys know. And see you in the next one.